We are about to step into a world that has remained untouched, hidden beneath the skin of the earth for hundreds of millions of years. A place where time itself seems to stand still, where shadows whisper of forgotten ages, and stone formations hold secrets older than life as we know it. This is not just a cave. It is a living monument, carved by nature in silence and patience. A cathedral of stone where every curve, every formation, every drop of water tells a story from a time beyond imagination. Here, deep in the heart of South Africa, the Sudwala Caves open their vast mouth to us, a gateway into Earth's earliest memories. A realm formed more than 240 million years ago, making it one of the oldest caves in the world, born long before the age of dinosaurs, long before humanity even walked this planet. As we descend, the outside world fades. Light and sound give way to an eternal silence, broken only by the steady dripping of mineral-rich water that has shaped these caverns over countless millennia. It is a silence that feels sacred, as though the earth itself is holding its breath. In this darkness, there is grandeur. Colossal chambers stretch above like forgotten temples. Stalactites hang like the frozen teeth of time, while stalagmites rise like ancient guardians of stone. Each one has been patiently sculpted by a single drop of water, a reminder that even the smallest forces of nature, given enough time, can create wonders beyond imagination. To walk inside Sudwala is to walk back through time itself. These caves are older than the mountains that hold them, older than the continents in their present form. They were here when Africa was still part of Gondwana, when the very face of our planet was still taking shape. The rocks around us are more than stone. They are records, archives of the Earth's earliest chapters. Every layer, every ripple, every crystal is a fragment of history preserved in silence for over 200 million years. But Sudwala is not just about stone. It is about mystery. For generations, these caves have inspired legends, tales of kings who found refuge here, of hidden treasures buried deep within, and of spirits that wander the chambers long after the fires of history have gone cold. And yet the true treasure of Sudwala is far greater than myth. It is the beauty of survival, the testimony of resilience, the breathtaking reminder that nature's artistry endures beyond human imagination. As we stand at the entrance looking into the yawning darkness, we are not merely visitors, we are witnesses. Witnesses to an ancient world, to a place that has survived every storm, every shift of the earth, every change in climate and history. Sudwala Caves are more than an underground wonder. They are a journey into the Earth's soul, a voyage into deep time, into silence, into mystery. And as the shadows grow deeper and the air grows cooler, we take our first step into a story that began before life itself. This is Sudwala, a realm where time waits, where stone breathes, and where the earth reveals its most ancient secrets. A hidden cathedral of creation, a testament to the beauty, the mystery, and the eternal patience of nature. Beneath the rolling hills of Mpumalanga, hidden under the folds of ancient stone, lies a world that defies imagination, the Sudwala Caves. At first glance, they are but shadows in the mountain. But step inside, and you enter not just a cavern, you step into the memory of the earth itself. For here, in these halls of stone, time is not measured in centuries or millennia. Time is measured in epochs, in ages older than the oldest mountains, older than the seas we know today, older even than the creatures that once thundered across the land. The Sudwala Caves are said to be over 240 million years old. To put that into perspective, these caves were formed before the first dinosaurs ever walked the Earth, before the continents had taken their modern shape, when this land was part of the supercontinent Gondwana, and strange life forms crawled across primordial swamps. Think of it, when the mighty Tyrannosaurus rex, that icon of prehistoric power, ruled the Earth, these caves had already existed for nearly 170 million years. Long before the Sahara turned to desert, long before the Himalayas pushed their peaks into the sky, long before humanity even had a name, the Sudwala Caves were here, waiting, watching, enduring. The rock itself tells the story. Formed from Precambrian dolomite, this stone is part of some of the oldest geological formations on the planet. Layer upon layer, compressed under unimaginable pressure, shaped by water and time into vast caverns that stretch deep into the earth. Every stalactite hanging from the ceiling, every pillar rising from the floor is a record of patience, drop by drop, year by year, century by century, until the impossible became real, a cathedral carved by time itself. Step into the P. Owen Hall, the largest chamber of the Sudwala Caves, and you are struck by scale. The ceiling rises 37 meters above the floor. The chamber is wide enough to hold an entire orchestra, and indeed it has. Musicians once performed here, their songs amplified by the perfect natural acoustics. Their notes carried not just to ears, but to stone that has been listening for millions of years. The magnitude of these caves cannot simply be measured in size. It is measured in endurance. For while kingdoms rose and fell above ground, while oceans advanced and retreated, while forests burned and regrew, the Sudwala Caves remained unchanged, sheltered in darkness, preserved by silence, eternal. And yet their scale extends beyond the chambers we see today. The explored passages stretch deep into the mountain, but explorers believe they are only scratching the surface. Untouched corridors may extend for kilometers further, hidden pathways that no light has touched, perhaps holding secrets yet to be discovered. It is humbling to realize the Sudwala Caves are not just old, they are witnesses. Witnesses to the birth of continents, to the shifting of Earth's crust, to the rise and fall of entire species. They are older than language, older than memory, older than imagination itself. When you stand in their silence, you feel it, the weight of time pressing gently on your shoulders. You are reminded of how brief our human story truly is. We measure our lives in decades, our history in centuries. But here, in these caverns, you are standing in a world written in hundreds of millions of years. And that is the true magnitude of the Sudwala Caves. Not just their physical immensity, but the immensity of time they hold within their walls. They are a reminder that the Earth has a story far greater, far longer, and far deeper than our own. As you run your hand along the cold rock, you are not just touching stone, you are touching the oldest chronicle of the Earth's memory, a book without words, written in silence. And though we may never fully understand its language, the caves whisper to us still, "We were here before you. We will be here long after you." That is the power of the Sudwala Caves, magnitude not just of space, but of eternity.
Beneath the mountain's skin lies a cathedral not built by human hands, but by the slow, patient brushstrokes of time itself. Here, stone has been sculpted for hundreds of millions of years, silent, steady, unrelenting. Every curve, every column, every shimmering wall is a testament to Earth's greatest artist, nature. The Sudwala Caves are not just hollows in the rock, they are galleries. Galleries where the walls breathe with mineral veins, where ceilings hang heavy with ancient chandeliers of stone, and where the floor rises with frozen fountains that have not flowed for eons. These are the stalactites and stalagmites, born from water, carved by patience. A single droplet carrying minerals falling again and again for centuries. And from that rhythm, from that persistence, stone takes shape. Dripping water becomes architecture, time becomes sculpture, and silence becomes music. Imagine walking into the Great Chamber, P.R. Owen Hall, vast enough to hold 500 souls. The roof so high it disappears into shadow. The walls echo with your every breath. And from the ceiling, jagged teeth of stalactites hang like the frozen remnants of some ancient beast. Below, the stalagmites rise to meet them, as if Earth itself reaches upward to touch the sky within. These formations are not just shapes, they are conversations. One from above, one from below, each waiting patiently for the other. Some already united into mighty columns, pillars of eternity that stand like guardians of the underworld. Every corner of Sudwala holds its own wonders. Flowstones ripple like frozen waterfalls across the rock, draped as though the cave itself wears robes of stone. Curtains of calcite fold in delicate sheets like silk hardened by time. Crystal pools shimmer in hidden alcoves, reflecting glimmers of light, mirrors to a world that thrives in darkness. And when a light shines against the mineral walls, sudden colors awaken. Shades of amber, ivory, deep rust, and ghostly white. Each layer, each hue telling the story of minerals carried from faraway mountains, washed here through veins of water. They are the cave's diary, written not in ink, but in stone. But to truly feel the power of these features, you must listen, not with your ears, but with your imagination. For here in these galleries, silence has a texture. The air is cool, steady, 17 degrees, a womb-like constancy. And in that silence, the stone speaks. Some formations resemble creatures, a crocodile frozen mid-hunt, a dragon coiled in slumber, wings tucked against the walls. Others mirror human symbols, a pulpit, a throne, an organ with pipes carved not by human hands, but by the breath of water through rock. It is as though the cave itself holds memory of every myth humanity has ever told. Scientists call this speleogenesis, the slow birth of caves through chemical alchemy. Carbon dioxide, water, limestone, three simple elements weaving together a masterpiece over unthinkable time. Yet for those who wander here, it is not chemistry they see, it is poetry. It is as if the mountain opened its chest and revealed the heartbeat of the earth. Every stalactite is a candle of time, every stalagmite a monument of patience. Together, they remind us nothing grand is born in haste. Holy darkness, complete, unbroken, eternal. For most of us, darkness is emptiness. But here in the Sudwala Caves, darkness is alive. It's easy to imagine caves as hollow tombs of stone, silent and lifeless. But step into the still, cool air of Sudwala, and you begin to realize this is not just a chamber of rock, it is an ecosystem, a hidden heartbeat of the earth. For hundreds of millions of years, life has quietly adapted to this shadowed world, creating a realm of survival where the rules of the surface do not apply. The first thing you notice is the air. Unlike other underground spaces where breathing feels heavy and stifled, here the atmosphere is crisp, fresh, alive. Why? Deep inside the cave flows an underground stream rich with minerals and oxygen, feeding the system like veins carrying blood through a giant body.
Scientists call it a living cave, a place where air circulates naturally, where moisture seeps and drips, where stone still grows, drop by drop, in silence. But this air, this unseen breath, does more than refresh. It sustains life in the dark. Look closer into the shadows, and you'll find the first guardians of Sudwala, bats. They cling to the jagged ceilings like living ornaments, waiting for dusk to fall. By day, they are silent statues. By night, they erupt in a storm of wings, flowing out of the cave's mouth in search of food. Their sonar, tiny clicks bouncing through the black, maps a world we cannot see. These creatures remind us that even in total darkness, life finds a way to navigate, to thrive. For ancient people, bats were more than animals. They were omens, symbols of mystery, perhaps even messengers between the underworld and the living. In Sudwala, they are reminders that this cavern, though hidden, has always been connected to the cycle of life outside. But life here is not only in the shape of wings. On the damp walls, green algae and microscopic fungi thrive, feeding on minerals and faint traces of light seeping in from the entrance. They may seem insignificant, but they are part of a cycle far older than humanity. These organisms are survivors, the kind of life forms that may have existed on Earth billions of years ago, long before animals or forests. To touch the walls of Sudwala is to brush against a living archive of Earth's earliest biology. It is as if the cave whispers, "I remember life before you. I have carried it through time." In the soil, in tiny cracks, other inhabitants dwell. Pale insects, blind crawlers, creatures evolved to survive without sunlight. Each is a marvel of adaptation. Eyes shrink because sight is useless in eternal night. Skin loses color because camouflage has no purpose in the black. Antennae grow longer, more sensitive, turning touch and vibration into a map of survival. They're not beautiful in the way we often define beauty, but they are proof of life's resilience, proof that no environment is truly barren. Perhaps the most remarkable fact about Sudwala's hidden life is its stability. While the surface of the Earth has endured fire, ice ages, droughts, and storms, the inside of the caves has remained almost unchanged. The temperature here stays at a constant 17 degrees Celsius year-round, no matter what chaos rages above. Imagine it. While dinosaurs rose and fell, while early humans struggled against the harshness of climate, life inside Sudwala persisted in peace, unchanged, untouched, eternal. To step into this cave is to step into one of Earth's safest shelters, an ark of stone where time seems powerless. Long before scientists studied its ecosystem, people already knew there was something alive in Sudwala. Early communities who sought refuge here must have felt the flutter of bats overhead,
heard the drip of water like a heartbeat, seen glowing patches of algae shimmering faintly against rock. For them, it was not just biology, it was spirit. They may have believed that the cave itself was breathing, that unseen ancestors whispered from the shadows. And perhaps, in a way, they were right. For what is breath if not life? What is sound if not proof of presence? Sudwala, even in its silence, was always alive. Today, when scientists study Sudwala's hidden life, they aren't just uncovering curiosities. They're searching for answers to some of humanity's greatest questions. How does life survive without sunlight? Could ecosystems like this exist on other planets, beneath the surface of Mars or on icy moons like Europa? Sudwala may hold hints. It shows us that life does not need light, that it can adapt to extremes, that it can endure where we imagine only emptiness. The cave becomes more than a tourist attraction. It becomes a laboratory, a teacher, a prophet of possibility. To walk inside Sudwala is to learn that darkness is never empty, that silence is never still, that even in the deepest shadows, life persists, hidden yet unstoppable. The hidden life of the Sudwala Caves is not loud or obvious. It does not roar like lions or tower like mountains. It hums, it breathes, it flickers in algae, it whispers in wings. It teaches us that the world is more alive than we imagine, and that sometimes the greatest miracles are those we never see. Every cave holds secrets, but here, beneath the towering cliffs of the Mankeli Mountain, lies a chamber of history that is more than stone, more than shadow. It is a cathedral of memory. The Sudwala Caves do not just belong to geology, they belong to people, to legends, to the whispers of those who came before us. Long before history was ever written on paper, it was carved in silence, in stone, and in fire. Archaeologists have found traces here, fragments of stone tools, charred bones, remnants of fire pits, proof that the earliest humans, thousands upon thousands of years ago, sought shelter in these caverns. They came here not for curiosity, but for survival. The caves gave them what no open land could: warmth in winter, coolness in summer, safety from predators, and the steady rhythm of water echoing in the dark. Imagine it, a family huddled around a fire, the flames dancing on dripping walls, children staring at strange rock formations in awe, perhaps seeing shapes of spirits or gods or monsters. In the flickering light, the Sudwala Caves became a place of myth, not just a shelter, but a home where imagination and survival became one. Centuries rolled by, empires rose and fell above ground, but inside these caves, echoes of another story grew louder. The caves became a fortress, a stronghold in times of war and tribal conflict. They were said to be the hiding place of Somquba, a Swazi prince who defied his brother in a brutal struggle for power. The story tells us this. In the 1800s, Somquba, fleeing from his brother Maswati II, the mighty Swazi king, found refuge in these caves. With him came warriors, women, children, and loyal followers. Together, they transformed the Sudwala chambers into a secret kingdom beneath the earth. Here they cooked, here they prayed, here they planned their defense. The caves, with their narrow passages and hidden chambers, became walls no enemy could breach. Legend says Somquba's men rolled giant boulders across entrances, trapping invaders and ensuring no army could enter without facing the mountain itself. But victory in the dark came at a cost. Trapped, isolated, Somquba's people lived in silence, hidden from sunlight for months, perhaps even years. Children were born underground. Stories were whispered in the glow of fires. And when the outside world forgot them, the caves remembered. Their breath still lingers here, and the echoes of footsteps across stone. But history is never just history. For the local Swazi people, the Sudwala Caves are more than a fortress. They are sacred ground. Elders speak of spirits that wander these tunnels, guardians of the past who watch silently as visitors walk deeper inside. Some say if you stand in complete silence in the largest chamber and close your eyes, you will hear them. The chants of warriors, the cries of children, the soft hum of ancestral songs. Is it imagination, or is it the cave itself breathing through stone? Local legends also tell of hidden treasures buried deep within Sudwala. Stories of gold, of lost artifacts, perhaps hidden by Somquba himself. Treasures that were never found, swallowed by the darkness, waiting in chambers still unexplored. For many, the caves are not just nature's wonder, they are a vault of secrets, too powerful to be revealed. When European settlers and travelers first encountered the caves in the 19th century, they were struck by the vastness and beauty. Yet what was for them a geological curiosity was already for centuries a living monument for the Swazi people. To outsiders, it was science and discovery. To the locals, it was heritage and spirit. Colonial explorers gave names to halls and chambers, mapped out paths, and declared this place a marvel of nature. But in doing so, they walked upon centuries of oral tradition, sometimes ignoring the deeper meaning that locals had always known. Still, the caves remained untouched in their essence, refusing to bow fully to modernity.
Caves have always been more than hollow spaces in stone. To humanity, they have been wombs of the earth, sanctuaries of survival, chambers of worship, and keepers of secrets too great to tell. The Sudwala Caves of South Africa are no exception. Beyond their limestone walls, beyond their prehistoric silence, lies a story not just of rock and water, but of spirit, culture, and identity. To the ancient peoples who first discovered these caverns, the Sudwala Caves were not just geological wonders, they were temples without walls, sanctuaries crafted not by man, but by the patient hand of nature. Imagine walking into the yawning entrance centuries ago, torchlight flickering on stone pillars rising like cathedral columns. The caves themselves must have seemed alive, breathing with the cool air, whispering with unseen currents, echoing every footstep like a response from the spirits.
To enter a place like Sudwala was to step into the threshold between the known world and the unseen one. For the local tribes, these caves were portals, a connection to ancestors, to gods, to mysteries larger than life itself. Every great cave carries legends, and Sudwala is drenched in them. One of the most enduring tales is of Prince Somquba, a royal of the Swazi nation. Centuries ago, as rivalries tore through the land, Somquba is said to have sought refuge in these caverns.
Within Sudwala's silent chambers, he and his followers made a stronghold, a fortress of shadows. Imagine the flicker of fire against the stone walls as warriors planned their survival, their whispers swallowed by the endless dark. To this day, stories tell of hidden treasures left behind, concealed deep within Sudwala's maze-like passages. Were they jewels, weapons, sacred artifacts? No one truly knows. But in the echoes of the cave, you feel it, a sense that history still breathes within the shadows. But Sudwala is more than a hiding place, more than a fortress. For generations, it has been a storyteller, a keeper of identity. The caves are woven into the cultural memory of the region, standing as natural monuments of survival and resilience. Long before written words, caves were humanity's first canvases, first archives, first sacred spaces. While Sudwala may not carry ancient cave art upon its walls, it carries something just as powerful, the living memory of those who passed through its darkness. When children were told the stories of their people, when elders spoke of battles, migrations, and the spirits that guarded them, Sudwala often lingered in the background, a silent witness to history unfolding. To many traditional communities, caves are not empty spaces. They are living beings. The Sudwala Caves, with their vast belly and echoing heart, were seen as more than stone. They were spirits, guardians, ancestors given shape. Entering the cave meant entering a being's soul, and so rituals of respect were performed before venturing too deep. Offerings were left, songs were sung. Some believed that the cave could hear, could judge, could even protect. This idea of sacred geography, where nature itself holds spiritual power, is not unique to South Africa. Across the world, humanity has revered caves as wombs of creation, homes of gods, gateways to the afterlife. Sudwala fits within this timeless pattern, a reminder that what lies beneath the earth is just as important as what grows above it. Step inside Sudwala and the sound itself feels otherworldly. Every drip of water, every shuffle of feet multiplies into a chorus. To those who came before us, this wasn't just acoustics, it was spirit speaking. The cave was a place of song, of chant, of prayer. Even today, Sudwala is famous for its extraordinary natural acoustics. Concerts have been held inside the colossal chamber called the P.R. Owen Hall, where music swells and lingers like the breath of eternity. In that sound you feel it, the blending of past and present, the merging of human voice with nature's cathedral. In every echo, one can imagine the voices of ancestors still resonating, still alive. Why do we as humans imbue places like Sudwala with such meaning? Why do caves pull at our souls, generation after generation? Perhaps it is because they remind us of beginnings. Humanity itself once lived in caves. They sheltered us from storms, from predators, from hunger. They gave us firelit nights and sacred silence. They were our first homes. And so in every culture, caves are never just stone. They are memory. They are origin. They are womb and grave, beginning and end. In Sudwala, this universal truth beats strong. Visitors who step inside today, tourists with flashlights, scientists with instruments, or locals with stories, are all touched by the same force: awe, reverence, the inexplicable sense that here, beneath the earth, lies something greater than ourselves. Today, Sudwala continues to be more than a geological wonder. It is a cultural icon. School children are brought here to learn of their heritage, to feel pride in the natural wonders of their land. Musicians and performers choose the cave for concerts, merging art with geology in ways that stir the human spirit. Festivals are held nearby, reminding us that the cave's presence is not silent. It inspires, it gathers, it continues to breathe culture into the modern age. And yet, even with all the lights and tours, Sudwala retains its mystique. Walk deeper inside, away from the groups, into the cool belly of stone, and you feel it again. That hum of something sacred, something unchanged by time. Something eternal. The Sudwala Caves are not merely hollowed rocks. They are a cultural heartbeat, a spiritual anchor, a place where the threads of humanity weave into the fabric of the earth itself. They remind us that culture is not just written in books or carved in statues. It is sung in echoes, whispered in legends, and held in the silent majesty of stone. To walk into Sudwala is to walk not just into the earth, but into the story of humanity itself. Our fears, our faith, our legends, and our longing for connection with something eternal. And that is the true significance of these ancient caves. The Sudwala Caves, once a silent cathedral of stone, untouched for millions of years, now welcome thousands of footsteps every year. What was once the hidden domain of nature and legend has transformed into a living stage where history, geology, and human curiosity intercept. Tourists from across the globe arrive, drawn by whispers of its grandeur, eager to descend into its depths and touch the very bones of the earth. From the very first step down the narrow pathways, visitors feel it, that shift in the air, the cooling temperature, the sense of crossing a threshold into another world. The sound of dripping water echoes through the chambers, reminding everyone that this cave is still alive, still breathing, still shaping itself slowly, silently, in the dark. Guides carry lanterns or modern lights, but the glow only heightens the shadows, painting walls that seem to ripple like living stone. For many, the Sudwala experience begins in the colossal P.R. Owen Hall, a cavern so vast it could swallow a cathedral whole. Tourists stand in awe, necks craned back, voices hushed as the guide explains that this space has hosted concerts, theater performances, even operas. Imagine it. Music, human voices rising and falling against the backdrop of rock formations sculpted 240 million years ago. The acoustics are haunting, carrying sound across the cavern like whispers of ghosts. It is not just tourism, it is a dialogue between the past and the present, between humanity and the eternal silence of stone. But modern exploration goes far beyond what the casual visitor sees. Beyond the well-lit chambers lie kilometers of passageways, narrow tunnels that weave into the unknown. Speleologists, cave scientists, and adventurers have spent decades mapping these veins of the earth. Some of the tunnels are so tight that explorers must crawl on their stomachs, squeezing through gaps with only a headlamp to guide them. Others open suddenly into chambers untouched by human presence for eons, filled with delicate formations that look like frozen waterfalls or ancient sculptures left behind by gods. For these explorers, Sudwala is not just a tourist attraction, it is a frontier. Each expedition uncovers new mysteries, raising questions about Earth's geological history, about how such vast systems could form and survive across time. And still, Even after years of study, no one truly knows the full extent of the cave system. How deep does it run? What secrets remain sealed in the untouched dark? Meanwhile, for the everyday traveler, Sudwala offers an entirely different kind of adventure. Families walk wide-eyed with children who stare in wonder at stalactites glittering under artificial light. Tour groups gather as guides tell stories, legends of Swazi warriors, tales of hidden treasures, myths of the spirits said to dwell within these walls. Cameras flash, laughter echoes, yet even amid the joy, there is always that moment of silence. That pause where tourists stand still, realizing they are inside something older than humanity itself. Outside the caves, a modern visitor center thrives, offering not only history exhibits, but also glimpses into the fossils found nearby. Some travelers come for the caves, others for the dinosaur park above them, an echo of life long extinct. Together, these attractions weave past and present into a single tapestry of discovery. Tourism here is not simply entertainment, it is education, inspiration, and a humbling reminder of scale, our scale against the timeline of Earth. And yet, Sudwala is more than a destination. It is an invitation to witness what lies beneath the surface of our world, to confront the immensity of time, to ask ourselves what it means to walk upon this earth for our brief moment in history. Each visitor who leaves Sudwala carries a piece of that mystery with them, an echo of dripping water, a memory of shadowed walls, a spark of wonder. The caves remain, timeless and patient as humanity continues its exploration. One torchlight, one story, one awe-filled gaze at a time. The Sudwala Caves are no longer a secret whispered by the rocks. Today they are a stage where history, geology, and human curiosity come alive. Tourists from across the globe arrive, not just to see the caves, but to experience them, to step inside the Earth's beating heart and feel its pulse echo through the chambers. Imagine yourself walking into a vast cathedral carved not by human hands, but by nature itself. The cool air brushes your skin, a silence so deep that every footstep seems amplified, every breath more meaningful. Guided tours lead you into these caverns where ancient stalactites hang like frozen chandeliers and stalagmites rise like solemn guardians. Each formation is a story sculpted over millions of years, and as you listen to the guide's words, you realize you are standing inside one of the oldest narratives on Earth. But Sudwala offers more than passive admiration. It offers exploration. Adventurous souls can join special tours that push beyond the public walkways, venturing deeper into hidden tunnels where mystery still lingers. Here, you crawl through narrow passages, climb over ancient rocks, and touch walls that have not seen sunlight in eternity. It is raw, unfiltered adventure, a chance to become an explorer, if only for a few hours. And then there is the amphitheater. Yes, within these ancient caves there is a natural stage, where the resonance of sound transforms into something magical. Imagine listening to music here, each note bouncing off the limestone walls, carrying with it the spirit of ages gone by. Concerts, theatrical performances, even cultural events are sometimes hosted here, blending the present with the past in unforgettable harmony. Outside the caves, the Sudwala Dinosaur Park welcomes families, inviting children and adults alike to trace the history of life from prehistoric creatures to modern marvels. It's not just education, it's adventure wrapped in wonder, turning every visit into a journey across time. But the greatest treasure of Sudwala tourism is not only what you see, it is what you feel. To walk these chambers is to remember that humanity is just a brief guest in the grand story of Earth, that life is fragile, fleeting, yet endlessly curious. Each visitor leaves with more than photographs. They leave with a renewed connection to nature, to history, and to the mystery of existence. And now, this experience is waiting for you. Yes, you, watching this film. One day, you too can stand inside these timeless halls, hear your voice echo through eternity, and feel the presence of something larger than life. You can walk where ancient people once hid, where legends still breathe, and where Earth's own artistry whispers its secrets. The Sudwala Caves are not just a destination, they are a calling. A reminder that the world is vast, that its wonders are endless, and that every journey has the power to transform us. So when the opportunity comes, answer that call. Step into the heart of the mountain. Step into the silence, the mystery, the grandeur. Step into Sudwala. Because some places are not meant to be just seen. They are meant to be felt.